we always face is SEC versus Big Ten, and those guys are always going to be biased toward their conference. But we can understand it, we can tolerate it, and we're just going to play football. It doesn't really matter if those guys really want to give us respect. I think the lack of respect really makes us play better.
How do you avoid a letdown on Saturday? How do you go from LSU to Akron? It's a little bit of a different opponent, but how do you avoid that big letdown on Saturday?
Not really a big letdown. You mean as far as style?
I think just you go from this big national exposure game to Akron at Camp Rendell instead of Lambeau, that kind of thing.
I think it's going to be just the same. Now we get a chance to play a home game at our home field, and that's Camp Rendell. I'm pretty sure all the fans are excited to get back, and I think that's going to be a great atmosphere to play in once again. So this is our first true season opener at Camp Rendell. So I think the energy level and the atmosphere is going to be just as strong.
What do you think it does for you guys on offense when you see if there's a mistake that the defense is able to pick it up the way they did? Because they were put in some pretty backed up situations and still only gave up one touchdown. Do you think that gives you guys confidence?
It gives us a lot of confidence, and especially when you look at Vince Bees coming off the edge, T.J. Watt coming off the edge. Those guys are just high motor athletes, especially Sitch coming up the middle. Sucks we just lost Chris Orr, but you got other guys coming up behind them. We still got T.J. Edwards coming back from injury. So those guys are really a special, talented group, and the sky's the limits for those guys. And you see it every day in practice. Those guys are really focused, dialed in, really know what's going on, and they pay attention to the opposing team. So they're always ready for the task.
I think they have a chance to be as good in some ways, if not better than even last year, because that was kind of the standard that everybody thought is the best defense that we've seen.
I think these group of guys really want to set their own name and just make their own, whether it's records, accolades they come across, or just having a type of respect, as to when Chris Borland and all them were there. So I think those guys are really setting a name for themselves. So they might, possibly have the #1 defense again if those guys really stick to it and keep preparing.
What struck you about Martin in his first start?
Just his calmness and poise, and just how he just stood back there, just played the game. And regardless of the 2 interceptions he threw, he didn't really get out of whack at all. It's just he came back to the huddle and just said, "All right, let's do it again. Just keep playing." And that's what you want out of your quarterback. You just want to see somebody who's calm, collective, and just make you feel at ease. So you can only thank him so much because he's doing everything he can, coming from Coach Chris, and Coach Chris is really putting him in a great, atmosphere, environment, and preparing him well just to stay at ease.
Now, you've seen Bart, you've known Bart a lot. Were you still kind of wondering going into the game what you were going to get? I know you've played with him. You've obviously known him for 3 years now, or 4 years almost.
You try not to think about it, and it's his first start against a top 5 team, so you're kind of just saying oh, what am I going to get out of Bart today? I would say the same if somebody else is playing quarterback. What am I going to get out of you today? It could have been Stave once again. I would have said the same thing, but it just showed what he can prove. So beating the top 5 team, being led by Bart is awesome. So I just want him to keep that leadership going on our offense.
How did your line play? I mean, I thought there were holes. Mm-hmm. Got to factor in that's pretty good defense.
Yeah.
How did they play given all those factors?
They played awesome. They played down to the last second of that fourth quarter, and those guys really put up a fight. And you can only just really take into account that those guys really they're young still, so they're only going to keep growing, and that's really can't be an excuse. But those guys are really putting up a fight as if they're playing like seniors. So when they're playing, I can't tell that they're a younger class to me sometimes, other than Ramchek, because he's been through so much, and you got to respect the type of process. He's been to JUCOs, he's been to other lower division schools, so he's really putting up a fight. So you got to respect the type of style that he's bringing to this game.
They played well and they were physical.
Oh, physical was the word, and I tried to be physical right with them. So I just tried to show them that you guys are going to play hard. I'm gonna play hard with you.
You broke tackles.
Yeah.
You look like Clement.
I hope so. I hope I look like myself. I've been preparing all year just to get back to this moment again, and it was a long road, recovery road. So feeling happy, blessed to still played his game.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.
Especially in the first quarter, you guys really dominated the time of possession. I think you had like 12 or 13 minutes of the 15 in the first quarter. You know, how much confidence does that give you to know that you are just kind of, you know, the ball's in your hands and, you know, it's your game to decide?
Yeah, I'd rather it be in our hands than LSU's for 13 minutes because Lord knows what Leonard Fournette can do in 13 minutes. He could probably do so much. And I think us having the time of possession on our side is very, key to winning a game. And especially, with our defense playing lights out, it was awesome. Besides letting up one touchdown, you really can't look at it. Those guys really played outstanding.
When it comes to the fullbacks, what did you see out of Alec Engel, Austin Ramish were both in the game and got some looks. How would you assess their play?
All those guys are really, firing out, especially with their pad levels. It was awesome. And traction was a little bit slippery, there on Lambeau Field, but those guys really fought to the whistle. And Ramish and Engel were really, key contributors to this game because without them and the O-line, this wouldn't be possible.
I mean,